A very glorious morning to all my dear students. Let's start our day with a beautiful quote. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. Today we will start Chapter 6 of Civics portion, Rural Administration. Now let's see what all is there in the chapter. The very first is settlement of conflicts and disputes in the villages, how it is done. Next, role of local police and patwari in settling land disputes in the villages, who are patwaris and what is their work. Next is new inheritance law, doing away with gender discrimination. It means it will tell which is the new law which stops gender discrimination. Now children, before starting a chapter, let's see what is the meaning of rural administration. Rural in Hindi we call it Grameen. Rural word is related to village and administration in Hindi we call it Prasashan, which means working or management. So rural administration means working of the government at village level. Now children, let's see what is the level of governance in our country. First it is national level, then it is state level, then it is district level, and last is city and village level. Now children, let's start the chapter, and let me tell you one thing very clearly, that there are more than 6 lakhs villages in India. Now children, for understanding this chapter, let's see a small story. Once there was a farmer named Mohan. Supposedly this is Mohan. Okay children? His family owns a small agricultural field which they have been farming for years. Next to his field there is a land of Raghu, which is separated from his land by a small boundary called a bund. One morning Mohan noticed that Raghu has shifted his boundary by few feet. By doing so, Raghu has managed to take over some of the Mohan's land and increased the size of his land. Mohan got very angry after watching this. Raghu's family owned many fields, and beside this, his uncle was also the sarpanch of the village. After knowing this, Mohan plucked up some courage and went to Raghu's house. There was a heated argument between Raghu and Mohan. Raghu refused that he has not taken any part of Mohan's land. Then Raghu called one of his helper and started beating Mohan. The villagers heard the noise and went to Raghu's house, where they saw Mohan was being beaten up by Raghu and his helpers. The villagers took Mohan away from that site. Mohan was badly hurt on his head and hand. He was given first aid by one of his neighbors. His friend, who also ran a village post office, suggested that they should visit near police station and file a complaint against Raghu. Other people in the village thought that it would not be a good idea because it will be a waste of time and money, and nothing would come out of it. After much discussion, it was decided that they will go to police station to file a complaint, along with some of the neighbors who have seen the incidents. Now children, after a long quarrel, the neighbors and Mohan reached police station. Now children, before going into the facts of police station, let's understand the working of it. Now children, every police station has an area that comes under its control. All persons in that area can report cases or inform the police about any theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. It is the responsibility of the police of that station to inquire, to investigate and take action on the cases within its area. I hope the working of the police stations is clear to you now. Now children, when Mohan reached police station with few neighbors, he went to the police in charge, who is also known as Station House Officer or SHO. Now children, Mohan told the police officer that what had happened with him, but the SHO rudely behaved with him and told him that he cannot help him in this matter. Mohan showed him his injuries, but the SHO did not believe him. Mohan was puzzled and did not know what to do now. He could not understand why his complaint was not being recorded. He went and called his neighbors into the office. They argued strongly that Mohan had been beaten up in front of them, and had they not rescued him, he would have been injured very seriously. Finally, the officer agreed. He asked Mohan to write down his complaint and also told the people that he would send a constable the next day to investigate the incident. Now children, let's switch to next topic of the chapter, which is maintenance of land records. Now children, we saw that Mohan and Raghu were arguing heatedly whether the common boundary of their fields had been shifted or not. Isn't there a way by which they could have settled this dispute in a peaceful manner? Are there records that show who owns what land in the village? Let's find out how this is done. Now children, measuring land and keeping land records is the main work of the Patwari. The Patwari is known by different names in different states. In some villages, such officers are called Lekpal, Kanungo or Karamchari or village officer, etc. We will refer to this officer as Patwari. Each Patwari is responsible for a group of villages. The Patwari maintains and updates the records of the village. The map and the corresponding details from the register on the next page are small part of the records kept by the Patwari. Now children, on this page you can see the map and all the details have been marked on this map, which is kept by the Patwari. Now children, there are some other works also which has to be kept by Patwari, like the Patwari is also responsible for organizing the collection of land revenue from the farmers and providing information to the government about the crops grown in this area. Now children, you must be thinking, what is land revenue? Land revenues are the kind of taxes which has to be given by the farmers to the Patwari, and Patwari has to keep a record of it, as he has to provide all the information to the government. That is why it's important for the Patwari to regularly update these records. Children, farmers may change the crops grown on their fields, or someone may dig a well somewhere. It is up to them. And keeping track of all this is the work of the revenue department of the government. Senior people in this department supervise the Patwari's work. Now children, all states in India are divided into districts. For managing matters relating to land, these districts are further subdivided. These subdivisions of a district are known by different names such as Tehsil or Taluka. At the head is the district collector, and under her are the revenue officers, also known as Tehsildars. They have to hear disputes. They also supervise the work of the Patwaris and ensure that records are properly kept and land revenue is collected. Now children, there is a chain of officers. First on top is district collector, then is revenue officers, also known as Tehsildars, and then at last there are Patwaris. Now children, you can read this portion on your own and try to understand the concept. Now let's switch to last portion of the chapter, which is a new law. First, starting this topic, let us understand what is Hindu Succession Act of 2005. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005 is an amended version of the Hindu Succession Act 1956. The new act removes gender discriminatory provisions of the previous act. Now, what does this mean? This means earlier Hindu women did not get a share in the family's agricultural land. After the death of the father, his property was divided equally only among his sons. So women lived in economic insecurity. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005 came into force from 9th September 2005. Act gives the following rights to the daughters under Section 6. Sons, daughters, and their mothers can get an equal share in the land. A daughter has the same right over the property as a son. This act includes daughters as joint owners in the joint family property with the same birthrights as sons to share. I hope the chapter is clear to you all. So, until we meet again, thank you. Bye bye.